I want a sandwich. Now. Oh, sandwich wench. Yo, wench. Sandwich. Now. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. A sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. A sandwich. Oh, sandwich wench. I want a sandwich. Sandwich.
Woo! Oh,
Hello,
5.
Yeah, I just keep fumbling and fumbling and fumbling. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another political recap stream here on the Moisky Live channel. Joining me to talk about stuff is my scrumptious co-host, Trups. Say hello, Trups.
Hello, Trups.
Hello, Trups. Hello, everyone that joins, everyone that listens on Spotify, Rumble. And we'll talk about Rumble soon enough, I'm sure. How is Trups today?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy.
Nothing too crazy. What's Trups?
No, but I did quite enjoy my the concert that I attended.
Yes, your video was good. I mentioned to you when you Trups sent me some video of it. There was someone at that show on Twitch. They're called Sunfire. They do drums mostly. And they're at the same show. Well, I don't know if it's the same. Maybe they repeated the same thing at another show, but it seemed like something I wouldn't have thought they'd want to intentionally drop it every show, because I think that's a bit of a no.
Maybe I'm not sure.
It seemed a bit tactless if you do it at more than one show to talk about the rev and all that.
Well, you know, so for those confused, Avenged Sevenfold concert went to. I actually don't think it's tactless, because even Ronnie Radke, who not opened for them, but he did like an hour set before they did. Kim Dracula was the actual opener. But Ronnie says this thing, and he says it every time he goes on. He goes, "I love Avenged Sevenfold for pushing back against the bullshit that the people on the internet, they demand that you be a perfect person all the damn time."
Right.
So I will never stop, no matter how tacky, no matter how cliche it might be. I will always, every show, thank them for that. In the same vein, I think that talking about, the Rev, especially because they were essentially like young friends, right?
They were, yeah. They grew up together.
I don't criticize them for.
Oh no, what I mean is,
if they,
when you sent me the video, they mentioned the anniversary part, right?
Yes.
It would seem tactless to mention the anniversary at every show.
Oh, yes.
That's what I meant. But of course, you're right. There's nothing wrong with bringing it up. Of course not. I tend to agree with you 100%. And Gordon, thank you very much for whatever it is you sent. We really appreciate it.
That's a horrifying concept right there. Make sure you're home for the delivery.
Yeah, no, I think it's off my Amazon wish list. I think.
Oh, lovely.
If that's the case. Thank you very much. But yeah, you went to a live show. That's fantastic. I have one coming up. I've got two more next year. In fact, I've got a band I grew up with, Funeral for a Friend, in a month. Well, not a month now. It's just under. I've got Glory Hammer, Dragon Force next year as well. 2 separate shows.
Oh, dude, I could. So Dragon Force is playing near me.
Yeah.
but it's on Halloween. I'm not going on Halloween.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because the same band they're touring with, their support Amaranth, are co-headlining with them in the UK. I've seen Amaranth before, and I've seen
Man.
Dragon Force many times. Amaranth are fantastic live, and Dragon Force, yeah, I like the new song's a bit strange. I like it though because it's not typically Dragon Force, and I think they're latching onto a different sound that's gotten quite popular from like Beast in Black.
For the longest time, I did not know that they had changed up their singer.
He's got a better range on his voice.
Well, I likened it to I think I had said like Bon Jovi
Oh, really?
in his sound and his range.
Yeah.
It sounds more not Dio. Where if the first guy was more Dio, this guy is more Bon Jovi.
Yeah. That the new Mark Hudson, the singer for Dragon Force, ZP Third was the original singer. Mark Hudson released a solo album recently called Starbound Stories, and it's very anime inspired.
Oh, that's very nice.
I'm not an anime person, but being a big fan of Dragon Force, I do actually quite like the music because there's some songs in it that are. While I don't like anime, there's nothing wrong with some of the musical aspects or influences from it. Again, I'm not a fan of anime, not because I don't like the art or anything. I just don't have time to watch it.
No, that's fine. I mean, it's
why I don't
a
dunk on it,
commitment
really.
to say the least.
I think it is because I've seen like some of the shows I have heard of, you know, Pokemon, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball, you know, that one. Yeah, they've gone on for so long, and I just know, and I know there are smaller things. I don't care. I just don't have time.
I can find you a smaller anime if you ever have the desire.
Yeah, maybe one day.
Yeah.
No, there's more chance of me going on holiday than there is that at the moment.
Well, both.
And I've been trying desperately to sort out something because I'd love to travel abroad. We'd also
Yes,
mentioned,
I know. I have an extra room.
Yes, we've discussed this, shooting and finding Romulan ale. Yes.
Woo!
Oh, it'd be a party. Get fucking sloshed, mate. Anyway. Yeah. So, do you want to talk about the subject that I'm a little bit reluctant to talk about because, man, I got accused of being a rape apologist in my comments.
Oh, okay. So it is Russell Brand. Okay, got it. Awesome.
Yeah. I took the stance
Okay.
of I'm going to refrain from giving too much of an opinion, but I'm going to advise you all, please wait until everything comes out before you simply say he's guilty. And what did some say? You're a rape apologist.
Well, you know,
what?
they said the same thing about Johnny Depp, and look at what that got them.
Yeah, they got undone because the people they said he had done it to, or he had beat, all came out and said, "Bitch, what? You didn't touch me."
It's almost as okay. In regards to the Johnny Depp thing, the audacity of that accusation is almost like saying Keanu Reeves is a bad person.
After seeing every video I've seen of that guy, he is the kindest. There was a guy who was interviewing him, and he interviewed him 20 years earlier, and he mentioned a piece of art. 20 years later, he brought that same piece of art and got Keanu Reeves to sign the back of it, not the front, the back of it. I thought that was I thought that was incredibly cool because Keanu's like, yes, I will sign that immediately. I also like him because he's left-handed like me, so I'm fine with it.
Absolutely. But okay, so in regards to the Russell Brand thing, apparently he had gotten accused, I think by 2 or 3 different people, that he had, I believe, inappropriately touched them, and it may have escalated a bit more into some more.
Initially, it was double that. Actually, it's 4. What happened was journalists had reached out to people. Basically, okay. Over the years, some accusations had come out, yes, but nothing ever came of them. Some went to the police, nothing happened. One person did actually go to a tabloid, and they kind of, I'm not going to name them, I mentioned it in the video on Monday, and I didn't mention name on purpose, but there is a timeline that in like 2016, 2017, I think it was, that they accused him, but nothing came of it, and they didn't go anywhere with it. The journalists then found other people, and then ran with it. Now they had reached out to Russell Brand Dispatches, Channel 4, made an entire documentary that took years to make on this. And just before they release it, they reach out to Russell Brand and they tell him, by the way, bitch, we're dropping this on you, you filthy, filthy, filthy toucherer without consent. The moment, and obviously Russell Brand comes out and immediately puts out a video on Twitter and Rumble and says, look, this is all erroneous, this is all made up, you need to find the truth, listen to the truth, wait for the truth. And, you know, and I will say, he has a very... His delivery style can be seen by casual people as conspiracy theory, like, delivery mannerisms, right? Yeah?
Sure.
Where he says, like, the mainstream media are here to shut me down. That kind of, you know, that kind of thing. That doesn't help. This does not help. It doesn't help when someone says, and I saw this cracking up on Twitter, they said, the only reason Russell Brand set up a YouTube channel and a Rumble channel was so that he could build an audience online to push back against mainstream media when they called him out for being a rapist. Like, bitch!
Yes, the Krasin scenes made
Was that who it was? I saw that
Yeah.
and thought that is the most bullshittery I've ever seen. When he started, he did True News, and I found him the most insufferable creator on YouTube. Now, I did have to be corrected. I remember him announcing he was leaving YouTube to go to Rumble. I didn't know he was still active on YouTube because I didn't pay attention to his YouTube anymore. I don't pay attention to his Rumble either. I'd heard he said he was leaving and ran with it and should have checked. That was my mistake. Sorry about that, by the way, folks. Fake news from Meg. Shocker, I know. But he put out a video saying, you need to wait for the facts. I'm going to deal with this. Now, I think now that this has happened the way it has, which I think is really shitty, and I will stand by something, by the way, to those who don't like it, I fully support, regardless of who you are, anonymity until proven guilty. If the victims retain victims, air quotes, victims, retain anonymity, can make all these accusations, really heinous ones, the person being accused should as well. Because you are intentionally poisoning the well for their life, their livelihood, their existence. People got annoyed with me for that. To those who did in YouTube, and if you're here now, go fuck yourselves and unfollow. Because I can't be arsed with you if you're that reactionary. Right? Evidence should be presented for passing judgment. And I know he was a sex addict. He spoke quite frankly about it in 2007 when he went to rehab for it. Right? He went and tried to deal with it. He was accused... I mean, Jonathan Ross used to make jokes at him and Noel Fielding on Big Fat Quiz of the Year. When they were on the same team... right, there are three teams on Big Fat Quiz of the Year. You had Rob Brydon, yeah, and Dave Mitchell, two comedians. Then you had Jonathan Ross and Lily Allen. And then you had Noel Fielding and Russell Brand. And both were known as quite, highly sexual back then, yeah? And so Jonathan Ross made the joke. He moved Lily Allen to his other side because they were in the middle team. And so they were as far away from Russell Brand and Noel as possible. And they both replied, I'm not a rapist. And the joke was, but you're wearing a cape. Yeah, because I'm trying to dress up as Jack the Ripper. I'm not. If I do rape someone, I'm not going to walk away with my cape up, am I? It's just that there were jokes about it, but no one. You need evidence. That was when you could make jokes, by the way, about that kind of stuff. Now you can't. You can't do that at all. That's fine. I don't care about the nature of comedy in the slightest being reduced down to the size of a thimble. I care that if you're going to make an accusation, either everyone is presentable, as in you all be named, or no one is named, until proven guilty. Because even if he's innocent, you've tarred him with the brush. Journalists mainstream media aren't going to report on if he's innocent, are they? No, they might offer a letter of apology, but they'll be forced to by a court. Otherwise, they won't do shit, and it'll be a tiny blurb in the back where no one looks where the ads are, before the sports section. But yeah,
what's really even weirder, right? Is and this has been a thought that I've had for the cancel culture idea for quite some time. What are people who are canceled supposed to do? Like, okay, let's just say that John Doe over there, right? He's done something wrong, right? and he's a public enough figure where everybody just chastises him. Everybody knows his name. Fuck this guy, right?
Yeah.
He loses all his jobs. He never
Absolutely.
gets hired again.
Well, luckily for him,
What's he do?
so in the case of Russell Brand, he has turned his back on the Hollywood life anyway. He's got a wife. He's got 3 kids. Well, one on the way. 3 kids. 2 kids, one on the way. He is very much, it's in the context of what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Chaos. Just in the context of this, that is not relevant. That's what I meant. I should have perhaps said that instead of allowing your autism to shine. He turned his back on Hollywood and he went full-time on YouTube and on Rumble because he can work around the schedule being a father. He's actually settled down. He's happy. He's in love. He's no longer in the public eye as much. What makes him different now to then is then he was beloved because he was married to Katy Perry in an unhappy marriage. He was doing films that made him seem like he was funny when he wasn't. He's not funny now, by the way. He's never been funny, okay? He really isn't funny, okay? But he changed when he, during COVID, started making videos questioning what was considered the acceptable narrative. And it's something we still can't talk about here. We can't do it. Because we're not allowed to question it. Which is why he went to Rumble. It's why he's so big on Rumble. It's why he has that... And people get really funny about Rumble. I don't get it, right? I really don't get how you get so funny about another platform. Oh, you actually agree. I misread you. Maybe you wrote... No, I might misunderstood you there, Chaos. Fair enough. But yeah, I just think that... I don't know why they've chosen now, because they could have done it years ago when he was no longer in Hollywood. They've waited to do this. And
until it was politically expedient.
Yeah, but I feel like when... And this is annoying, because when there's the argument of... conspiracy theory, you have to kind of try and find a way to say that this seems timed on purpose because it looks it. Especially when every newspaper outlet, and by the way, I have access to all that in my country, on the day they all accused him, I went into my local co-op and they had about 10 different newspapers, all had the exact same covers, had the exact same insides. Remember we've done this when Trump was in office and so many articles were copy-paste? These newspapers were virtually identical with a different writer's name on it. The words, the wording, the framing, the syntax, it was so similar. The syntax, it was just ridiculous. Okay? I don't get that. But I do at the same time because it then makes it look like you guys are colluding. It really does. And it doesn't help when I think there is an argument here of continuing to control the internet. And that ties into something else where the government have recently passed the online safety bill. They're trying to get this online safety bill through. And it's so fucking irritating. Because this is giving, government massive investigation, information, control, and arrest powers. Okay. This incident that has no proof to it, it's not... there's no criminal trial taking place yet, by the way. Okay. This is clearly and solely an excuse to influence social media companies to demonetize creators that they want to for being against what they believe. It's not about justice for victims.
Now, who is behind this push, Meg?
Well, it doesn't help that there's a government official involved, but I don't actually know who exactly is the one that pushed it. But I don't like the fact that there is somebody, and you've led me down the right path here. I'm going to go to screen capture. This might not look right for a second. Do forgive me. But I have to go and pull up something. This? Yeah, this. This is a tweet from Dankula. Ignore Dank. Well, you can't see it anyway. But this letter on the screen you see, folks, is the Culture, Media and Sport Committee. Dr. Theo Bertram, Director of Government Relations Europe, TikTok. Okay. This is TikTok. I am writing concerning the serious allegations regarding Russell Brand in the context as a user of TikTok with more than 2.2 million followers on the platform, which, by the way, you know what that means? Fuck all! You could have 100 million and still be a peasant. The Culture, Media and Sport is raising questions with the broadcasters who previously employed Mr. Brand or production companies who employed him to examine both the culture of the industry in the past and whether that culture still prevails today. Although Mr. Brand no longer appears on television, Not surprising, the BBC scrubbed him off their records, and Channel 4 might not for a little while, but you never know. He now has a follower base on social media, including a TikTok, where this weekend he republished his preemptive response to the accusations made against him by the Sunday Times and Channel 4's dispatches. While we recognise TikTok is not the creator of the content published by Mr. Brand, and his content may be within the community guidelines set up by the platform, we are concerned that he may be able to profit from this content on the Plato from. They wrote platform wrong. They wrote PLATOFRM. They're idiots. We would be grateful if you could confirm whether Mr. Brand is able to monetize his TikTok posts, including his videos relating to the serious accusation. First of all, who the fuck are you to determine what someone can and cannot make money from? Second, even if he was, I can promise you this, he'd get 100 million views on TikTok, he'd make 50 quid. It makes sod all money. Piss off with that shit. Alright? What's the next one? Here we go. Rumble, Chris Pavlovsky. Dear Chris, I'm writing concerning the serious allegations regarding Russell Brand in the context of his being able to... of his being a content provider on Rumble with more than 1.4 million followers. I've got like 800. I'd really like to get to 1,000 by the end of the year, folks. And any support was appreciated, although I doubt I will actually. And yes, I do not support the nanny state. You can off with that. That's why I don't agree with the XL Bully Dog ban. The Culture, Media and Sport Committee is raising questions with the broadcasters and production companies who previously employed Mr. Brand to examine both the culture of the industry in the past and whether that culture still prevails today. Okay, that seems interesting. However, we are also looking at his use of social media, including on Rumble, where he issued his preemptive response to the accusations made against him. While we recognise Rumble is not the creator of the content, we are concerned that he may be able to profit from his content on the platform. That is none of your fucking business.
Correct.
We'd be grateful if you could confirm whether he's able to monetize his content. We'd also like to know what Rumble is doing to ensure creators are not able to use the platform to undermine the welfare of victims. Hang on, how do you know any of them are victims? Have you just Dame Caroline Idge, MP, DBE, have you just basically done the listen and believe? Have you just gone guilt until proven? Fuck off! I know people in my YouTube comments are a bit sensitive about this on YouTube, on my main channel, but I'll restate it here. Innocent until proven guilty. You must demonstrably prove his guilt. You must prove it in a court of law. If you just assert it in the public space, you're gonna get battered. It's why those that have accused him have had to be silent, they're anonymous, because they know in the court of public opinion they're going to get flayed. Not because people agree with Russell Brand, but because you then have to be held to the same standard he is being held to. I'm not saying I agree that he's innocent. I'm saying he is presumed innocent until proven guilty. So, in the case of Rumble, we have a response. Rumble's response. Today we received an extremely disturbing letter from a committee chair of the UK Parliament. While Rumble obviously deplores those words, we believe that both alleged victims and the accused are entitled to a full and serious investigation. It is vital to note that recent allegations against Russell Brand have nothing to do with content on Rumble's platform. Just yesterday, YouTube announced, based solely on the accusations, it was barring Russell Brand from monetizing his content. Yeah, I don't support that either, but go figure YouTube would do it for optics, and any excuse to do that against someone who has questioned their motivations in the past. Rumble stands for very different values. We have devoted ourselves to the vital cause of defending a free internet, meaning an internet where no one arbitrarily dictates which ideas can or cannot be heard, or which citizens may or may not be entitled to a platform. We regard it as deeply inappropriate and dangerous that the UK Parliament would attempt to control who is allowed to speak on our platform or to earn a living from doing so. Singling out an individual and demanding his ban is even more disturbing given the absence of any connection between the allegations and his content on Rumble. We don't agree with the behaviour of many Rumble creators, but we refuse to penalise them for actions that have nothing to do with our platform. Although it may be politically and socially easier for Rumble to join a cancel culture mob, doing so would be a violation of our company's values and mission. We emphatically reject the UK Parliament's demands. As they should. No, at no point should any platform be beholden to the UK government in this. There are rules, sure. Terms of service, why not? But in this, you're trying to say, first of all, how dare he defend himself in the public space? and how dare he potentially monetize his content because of it? Like, that's not acceptable. Okay, the guy's rich anyway, it doesn't really matter too much, but that's not the point. Okay, if someone takes away your ability to earn an income off an accusation, you're screwed, because everyone's just going to do it to each other. Any excuse to take it away from anyone at any time. The precedent is set, now anyone can act on it. And I'm not surprised TikTok scrubbed him, because TikTok are cowards as well. They'll scrub anyone if you so much as call someone an uncultured swine for not wearing socks with shoes. Hi, that happened to me.
Ew.
Anyway, back to us. I will link those tweets in the chat for those who are YouTube chat. If you see this on Rumble, I will link them as well, but I'll also have the images on the screen for you, so you will have seen it. Those are the relevant tweets in the chat. Rumble are 100% correct, and I fully support what they said. What do you think, Trups?
Well, honestly, so the biggest issue that I have, of course, is the government's strange fascination or interest in someone's ability to make money. This is a very bizarre concept to me, because the government, for all intents and purposes, should not be involved in somebody's private life.
Agreed.
That might just be very American of me, but okay. That being said, the contents of one's speech, separate from their actions, this is the part that gets me a little annoyed. As part of what I was trying to say earlier, when somebody gets canceled, right, and they lose advertisers, they can't get hired anymore, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to just die? Are they supposed to just go on to, public welfare? Like, if you strip everybody of their ability to make money, because no one's going to hire them.
Agreed.
To McDonald's. But no one in a reputable business is going to hire a previous celebrity in a standard blue or white collar job, because you have to deal with that.
Yeah.
And then the other piece of it is no one's going to hire them as a consultant or anything, like a publisher probably won't take them out. Like, what are they supposed to do? What are you expecting of these people? Like, I joke saying that, is it that you just want them to die? Yes, that is exactly what they want. They want you gone. They want you never to speak ever again. Mm-hmm. And this is, and that could be the idea of, the death. Oh, that is a acceptable terms of conditions is probably what they would go about and say. I mean, I have a list here of the things that have already dropped him. Tavis Stock Wood Management Agency said it's terminated all professional ties to
Yes, they did.
Bluebird, an imprint of the UK publisher Pan Macmillan, said it would pause all future publishing of Russell Brand.
So, before you continue, the first company you mentioned, they had actually reached out to a few years back, I believe, when one of the accusations had been made by somebody then. But nothing came of it. I saw people on Twitter talking about these accusations, and someone tried to justify why none of them, or the majority, had not gone to the police. They tried to justify it by saying, "Oh, but if they don't get found guilty, then what do we do?" I'm like,
nothing.
You build a bridge and you get over it, because you clearly lied. You have to prove it. No, that's not right. You know what I mean? Just actually, no, fuck it, I'm committing to that.
The problem is, no, I get what you're saying, and more or less, it's what happens when you, let's say you completely believe, let's say this, this happened to you, you go to court, you say your piece, you say this happened, and the court finds the other person not guilty. What do? You
don't take justice into your hands. You don't take justice into your hands.
You fucking move on.
Well,
I'm sorry. Like, tragic, I'm sorry. Really, I am.
There is an option. There is an option.
Appeal.
Exactly. So I would say, if you've gone to the police and nothing's happened, you find a way to you've got to get enough for them to work with. And then they investigate. You've got to be able to prove that. And I would say there were people also who were on Twitter, and I covered this in my video, saying that was also Tavistock, two separate Tavistocks. There's other ones. Tavistock is a location. as well as a gender reassignment clinic. Well, formally closed down now. The other thing, there are people who were coming out on Twitter and they were saying that they had been back to his flat before in LA or in London or wherever it was, and he'd asked to have sex with them and they said no. And he never got angry with them or anything. In fact, they spent the night in his guest room and he was super respectful and he never tried anything. And this happened multiple times. And I saw responses of, I'm glad you're coming forward and being honest about, showing that he's not as evil as he's been portrayed. And then others are like, are you trying to take away from what these people have gone through? Do you not understand what this man represents? Do you not get that this guy he needs to be in prison, he needs to be cancelled, he needs to be bullied? Bitch,
okay, so that's the part that gets me. It feels witch trial-y. And I mean this in the actual sense of witch trials, right?
Oh, it is a witch trial.
This person is a witch. Well, how do you know? I believe it. Okay, I guess we're going to burn them. It genuinely does feel that way when we do with the cancel culture. I don't sometimes you may be right.
Yeah.
And sometimes you may be wrong. And we as a society have to approach things the same way we do with everything else, with critical thinking. And we go, that's a good point. That has some interesting, some interesting facts going on here. I'm interested to see how this plays out in court. I mean, looking at Johnny Depp, because this is a parallel, right?
Yeah.
Looking at the Johnny Depp case, there were a bunch of interesting facts that came out during that case. Some of which most people didn't know. But it didn't get to the heart of the issue at hand. So the actual shock content, he did this thing to me. Yeah, no, you didn't get there. And that is just how the system works. Because if we had it your way, or we had it, the way that the people on Twitter or in your comments want it to be, then we really have to wonder about the individuals, Ezra Miller, who might have been accused of things, and we should probably just go and witch trial that too, right? Like that's how you want it to work. But that's not actually how you want it to work, because anybody who observes how this culture war has progressed since Gamergate, we know how this goes. You challenge the people that aren't on your side, and anybody on your side you defend. That's how the culture warriors on both sides do this fight. That is not the reason why you go to court.
Yeah.
Like,
by the way,
convenient
Russell Brand, not even an hour ago, 9:57 p.m., so half an hour ago, put out a video on Twitter talking about this more. Leona just linked it to me. I'll put it in.
Oh, interesting.
I'll send it to you as well, so you have a copy of it. I'll put it in the chat for anyone who's interested in watching.
But this is one of those things that if you have a case, great, go for it. If it doesn't work the first time, appeal it. If you exhaust all your possible legal options, I'm sorry.
So there's a thing about that, because I've always held the belief if you've instead gone to a network and a journalist, or they've come to you to put together their hit piece, and you've given them this information, and then more come out as well afterwards, because that always happens, are you actually seeking justice or not? Because what happens now? Well, what we've seen is that the BBC has scrubbed him from their records, because apparently they're late to react to everything. They learnt their lessons from Jimmy Savile and still make the same mistakes, although in this instance we don't know he's guilty, but they're presuming he is guilty, unlike Jimmy Savile, who is demonstrably guilty and they never ever acted until he was dead. You have YouTube demonetizing, and that's fine. That's something they do to everyone all the time. They arbitrarily will do it as well. For no reason, they'll just demonetize. You have TikTok, but that's TikTok. I actually don't care about. I don't think Russell Brand, even cares about that, because honestly, TikTok is not a platform worth caring about. But the only ones
Fair.
that stood up to them, and to the British government, or to a committee of it, is Rumble. And as much as some of my comments on my main channel said they're hinky, anyone that stands up for free speech is a platform worth your attention. YouTube don't.
Yeah.
And I'll say it on YouTube. YouTube is not a free speech platform. It never has been. It was a dating site at one point, and then it became a video sharing thing. And then when they realized it could become something more, they made it so odd that it got to the point now small creators can't grow. Even bigger creators that might have a play button can't really grow unless they find something they can latch onto and work with that, a little corner of their own, as it were.
Basically, once Google took it over, it was over.
The only thing good about YouTube for me is that I can make a living off it.
I mean, that's great.
And that is in December especially. But I like this. I want to grow here. I want to be successful here. Of course I do. But I'm very much aware that to protect my right to speak, I have to be present on platforms like Rumble. And I have been present there. I make 3, sometimes maybe up to 3 videos a week there explicitly on a main channel and its response format. And I enjoy that. I wish more people would go there and enjoy that, because you'll find that it's a lot easier to digest that. Now, I will admit that this situation reeks of wrong, but it doesn't reek of wrong because of the people making the accusations, or the accusations having any truth to it. No, it reeks of wrong because the government has acted and decided, I'm now going to tell you, the platform, who should or should not make money off a video denouncing the accusations, defending themselves. How dare you defend yourself? What's he supposed to do? Come out now and say, I'm going back into sex therapy because I did all these things? Like, bitch, no. That's not how... How is this so difficult? And by the way, Russell Brand put out a tweet. I put it in the chat for you. In that, the majority of the comments underneath say innocence until proven guilty. I was half tempted to play the video, but it's 3 minutes long. I'm not doing that.
I know.
And also, Trups wouldn't be able to hear it in time. He wouldn't be able to hear it in time with me. It's just not worth it. And Snow, no, I haven't, but I did save it on a Discord server, so I can't forget it. But I'll listen to it tomorrow. Thank you. But yeah, this all reeks of wrong, and I don't like that the government is stepping in like that. No government should have that level of, or should try to use that level of sway, and especially presuming guilt. And yes, absolutely, they do not have business. It's not their business. They should not be involved. I don't like it.
They're only involved because, and this is the conspiracy aspect, right? This is the part that people don't like to acknowledge. Russell Brand is a countercultural icon, not unlike people like Andrew Tate, not unlike various individuals who make commentaries and podcasts that speak against establishment narratives. Whether or not he is always on point with his comments does not stop the fact that he is essentially what used to be called punk rock.
Sure.
He is essentially an anti-establishment type who is bringing up comments or concerns about how the government does things. Is he 100% right all the time? No. Yeah. But really interesting that the government would come out against one of their critics with such a directed and poignant approach to actually effectively try to silence people. And then this also begs some questions. So let's say this person does go to court.
Mm-hmm.
Can we believe, now that we know the government is involved, can we believe that either the judge or the prosecutor will approach this in an honest way? Because that really does ask it really does make people question, when you see government intervention like this, can you believe for a second that the government and its, I guess, officials, its judges, all of its people, why did I hit that wrong? Ignore me.
Did you just hit yes?
Yes.
Oh, you donut.
I wrote yes.
Oh,
I
that's,
wrote yes.
That's
I'm
too
bad.
good. Oh, you
And
boomer.
I was in the middle of a rant, okay?
Oh, you know what? Until you admitted it, I would have let that go because I was looking at it thinking, whoever did that, I'm going to kill him.
It was me. I'm sorry.
Oh, well done.
I pressed
Never
the
mind.
button.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Um,
There's a poll in the
but-
chat by the guys. Vote on it, please. The question is, should the UK government be involved with the Russell Brand accusations? The one vote for yes is Trups. He just did it because he's Trups.
I was in the middle of a comment. I'm
He
sorry.
was excited. All right, carry on.
Listen to my words, not my actions.
Yeah.
But would you believe if the government came out on something, would you believe that their officials could be impartial?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm genuinely asking, could you believe that?
No.
Or would you have a shadow of the doubt in the back of your head, like, no, fuck it.
I do not.
you in
I
that.
would not trust him. That's not the point of. I would never trust. I can't trust government like that.
Right, and so that's kind of my. If I think that honestly, the fact that this person, this government individual, actually came out, I think it actually does the person disservice. Let's say this is all true.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fuck, you just screwed that, big time.
Yeah.
Tainted the jury pool. What have you done?
I've always supported small government with lots and lots of accountability. I do not like big government. I don't like government being able to dictate so much either.
Mm-hmm.
And mine does that enough as it is with this online safety bill bollocks. Which this whole incident, to me, from a completely another perspective, looks like something else. In the sense that we've got election year next year. If the government are seen acting on this, they can spin it for good optics. Because the Conservatives are fucked right now.
Now, did you see the Prime Minister of New Zealand say something similar?
I'd heard they'd done something goofy recently.
Prime Minister of New Zealand made a comment to other world leaders talking about disinformation and how it is a weapon that I believe actually Dankula posted this too. About how disinformation is a weapon of war, and the government should use all of its power to stop disinformation.
But what is disinformation?
Disinformation is intentional misinformation.
According to the government,
misinformation that's wrong.
So,
right.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The government then is deciding what is disinformation. They can't do that on behalf of they should never have that power to decide.
Correct. And not only that, but if they so ever decide they want to try and take that power, it is definitely the rights of the people to regain that power.
Absolutely.
Whether that means vote everybody out, take back your country.
I feel like I'm starting to sound more American, aren't I?
Well, yeah. Welcome to the party. There was a reason that we rebelled against.
Well, that's the thing, though, isn't it? Because you guys have yours enshrined in such revered papers.
Yeah, but we fucking don't give a shit about our own papers half the time.
True, but you have it. We don't. And because of our government, the way our system is run, it just doesn't respect the will of the people. Instead, they think that because they got voted in 5 years ago, that gives them the right to simply continue. I think perhaps our term might be a bit too long.
Unfortunately, we don't even have a party that respects this idea. Aspects of the Republican Party and very, very minute selections of the Democrat Party still believe in the rights of individuals. But establishment types and the ever-growing authoritarian left has basically all but said that the rabble, the common folk, you cannot be trusted to make decisions. We will make them for you. If you speak out of line, don't worry. We will purge the non-believer. All glory to the glorious,
Kim Jong-un
collective.
Oh yeah, Kim Jong-un. My mistake.
Now there was a reason, of course, that like, this is both political and celebrity news, because this leads into a a different piece of a political puzzle, and that is what happens when your government is so horribly. Oh, look, I'm the only yes vote. Go me. Um,
Well done.
so horribly divided that they cease to function. Well, in America, we have a looming government shutdown.
Oh, so there's another one of those federal ones where the budget hasn't been agreed upon.
Yeah,
Is it debt
basically.
ceiling this time, or is it something else?
No, different. This is a defense bill.
Oh. Is this a defense bill that the Republicans don't agree upon, or is this one they want to push through the Democrats don't want to agree to?
This is one that the Republicans can't agree on.
Oh.
And talking about the different warring factions within parties, you have the MAGA side, the Freedom Caucus, as they're more as they've chosen to be called, who have basically held Kevin McCarthy, the Speaker of the House, Republican, by the balls.
Is that
basically-
more by the balls or less than the ones that are in his office protesting?
Oh no! They have him effectively by the balls, because if they believe that McCarthy is not following through with a deal, they have a agreement to be able to start a vote of no confidence in him.
Any excuse to get rid of him, Democrats will agree to.
Well, yeah, but they may not like what comes after that. And what it all boils down to is a disagreement on spending. This defense spending bill that they have going up, I actually have a copy of the bill. I also posted it in the chat for in our Discord.
Yeah.
This is the defense spending bill, and it's too high for the Freedom Caucus. The amount is too much, and there are individuals who disagree with some of the appropriations. So I'm going to read one. I'm going to read one to you, and you tell me if this sounds like something that the U.S. should be withholding or possibly having a government shutdown over. Of the amounts appropriated in this act under the heading Operation and Maintenance Defense-Wide, for the Defense Security Cooperation Agency, $300 million to remain available until September 30th, 2025, shall be for the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative.
Yeah, just stop.
Yep, that's all I was going to go with.
Yeah. We cannot provide much of an opinion on that on YouTube. But the opinion... I saw something recently that... it was in the news. I have to type Poland, see if it's in the news there, because it was Polish. Poland are going to stop sending weapons to Ukraine amid a grain fight. They're not.
Yeah, I remember seeing some of this.
So there are countries that are pushing back against sending weapons to Ukraine. We can't say anything dissenting about it, annoyingly, but we can report on what is causing issues and friction. Because YouTube are very much on a side. I love that I saw videos of people posting videos, of Zelensky in his earlier years, and the caption was always something like him going to the UN to ask for approval, and he was doing some form of belly dancing. If you watched him doing it, the only thing moving was his tallywhacker package. His arms were like wobbling from side to side, but outright, like in a star position, and then his junk was just moving. As if it was some kind of impressive dance move to make just one area of his body sort of vaguely wobble. I thought it was quite funny, but this honeymoon period pissed me. When I'd heard a F-35, is that what it's called? Plane?
Yeah.
When I heard that went missing, my first thought was, did you give it to Ukraine? Is that what you did?
Yeah, that was my first thought too.
Yeah. It's a lot of money to put aside. And preemptively for a few years from now.
Yeah.
Made
available for 2 years.
I do not agree with that. I think if you're going to help, you give them the chance now and you walk away.
For reference, this defense bill is only supposed to be funding for the next 31 days.
then that is already a big no, because you're
Right.
planning that 300
Exactly.
million will be used for your defense bill.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, quite right.
What do you
Like,
have to? What
this,
do
this,
you lose out of your military budget if you're giving away that much?
Oh, fuck if I know. We have
I mean, troops. What are
a
you
Democratic Party who is currently saying that a person who is withholding an appointment to certain Pentagon officials,
losing? Mm-hmm.
by his very action of saying no, um, he is jeopardizing national security. What? I'm sorry. I didn't realize that having a difference in opinion means that national security is fucked.
Yeah.
Could you maybe, instead of pushing so hard for candidate A, maybe you go with candidate fucking B,
Yeah.
and maybe national security wouldn't be at risk? But no, there's a reason why they push for certain individuals.
Yeah.
Tommy Tuberville, a senator from Alabama, makes a point as to why most of them are ideologically driven, or they have some connection to ideologues.
Right.
Because of course they do. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't we just have a person who, based on their merits, is just good at their job? That's too much to ask.
Can I
really.
point out something quite amusing I've noticed recently? By the way, I didn't know this guy was still about until I saw a tweet. Recently, Trump had given an interview. Yeah. I put it in our work server. He gave it to somebody. Dave Rubin. I didn't know he was still about. He had tweeted out about this. Crickets heard all throughout Macedonia. And I noticed on his Twitter of late, he's tweeting from the DeSantis war room, so I wonder whose side he's on. But he is a huge DeSantis fan. Dave Rubin.
Gavin is?
Dave Rubin. The
Oh.
Rubin Report. Remember that?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Yeah. He's still about. I didn't realize. If he's on YouTube, he doesn't link it in his Twitter. He links locals instead.
There was a time where he went missing for a while. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah. But he's come out in big support for DeSantis, and I'm thinking he's getting a lot of getting a lot of crap on his Twitter for it.
Well,
but he's also
I mean, he's
accusing
chosen
Trump
poorly.
of being empty, having nothing to add to the conversation, lying for years.
Maybe they went to go reprogram him. Maybe that's why he went missing.
It's possible.
There is no war. There is no war in Boston, say.
Possibly, yes. I'm gonna go see if he's active on YouTube still, because I know he's on Rumble. I know that. Because he links it on it. It's on his Twitter banner. Okay, so he's still active on YouTube, but for 2 million followers, he gets he doesn't get many views for the size of. If you got 2 million followers, I would expect to get. He's got one here that got like 65,000 views, but his videos get like between 10 and 25,000 views. These are short videos as well. Like he doesn't.
That's kind of shocking, actually.
He doesn't do the interviews here apparently anymore.
So I'm curious now, because I thought I might have been subscribed to him, but let me find out. I might be wrong. If I am, no, I'm not.
I'm kind of curious. Like, if he picked a line, right? He's picked his side of DeSantis. What's he going to do when DeSantis loses?
Pivot.
Well, I reckon he'll become a massive. I reckon he'll flip flop and back whoever it is that wins.
Oh, of course.
No offense, but DeSantis
as per the political, ping pong.
It's strange to me because Rubin, I could have sworn he said he was libertarian.
I thought so too, actually. Now that you mention that, that's a good point.
Because he lived in California, didn't he? At the point he was like doing the ITS show. Now he's a Florida man.
Yeah, except the only problem I have with DeSantis is that his campaign literally blows, and I think he would do better as a governor. Like that's just it.
I think he'd do better as a running mate.
Well, I mean, I like Vivek.
Who?
For a running mate? Vivek Ramaswamy.
That's a name.
Yeah, he's a tech bro. But
is this like Butters, Pete Butters, the Geig?
I don't know what you're referencing.
Buttigieg.
Oh no, not booty gig. No, this guy is a.
The
he
pronunciation is
a-
like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah. No. Vivek is essentially he's his own kind of firebrand. He's basically making all of the Trump points, but with a bit more of a I'm not a politician and I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And I'm also a lot younger than Trump. So if we have to restructure the government, so be it. I'm more than willing to do that kind of opinion.
Okay. You
I
got my
like it.
attention. I've never heard of this guy, and that name sounds bonkers.
If you get the chance, look at some highlights from the Republican debate that happened like a month or two ago. It's he had some good points, and he definitely outshined a whole lot of people. And then there's always been some interviews with Bill Maher. There's been There's been a lot of interviews.
I saw
He goes on a lot.
I saw an interview actually of Russell Brand he gave to Bill Maher. Is it Bill Maher? No. What's his name? Is it Bill Maher? Oh no! There's a clip doing its rounds where Russell Brand talks on a guy's show. Is it Bill Maher? Yeah, the guy with the white hair come back. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and he talks about COVID, and he says the pandemic created 40 big pharma billionaires, pharmaceutical companies like Moderna and Pfizer made $1,000 of profit every second from the COVID-19 vaccine. More than 2/3 of Congress received campaign funding in the 2020 election from those companies. The Pfizer chairman, Albert Bourla, told Time magazine in July 2020 that his company was developing a COVID vaccine for the good of humanity, not for the money. And of course, Pfizer made $100 billion profit in 2022. Mayor just mentioned finally that this is also a fact that you, the American public, funded the development of that. The German people publicly funded the BioNTech vaccine. When it came to the profits, they took the profits and it came to the funding you paid for. All I'm querying is this, is if you have an economic system in which pharmaceutical companies benefit hugely from medical emergencies, where a military industrial complex benefits from war, where energy companies benefit from energy crises, you are going to get a state, of perpetual crisis, where the interests of ordinary people are separate from the interests of the elite. That's what Russell Brand said of Bill Maher. I had to scroll the video with the captions.
I mean that's objectively correct, though.
Yeah, I will link it in the chat. Basically, I agree with what he has said. Annoyingly, again, I'm not a big fan of Russell Brand, but when someone's right, I have to agree with them. I'll link it.
Yeah, when you're right, you're right.
Yeah. When those were developed, and people were saying it wasn't for the money, and then all those billion. I'm sorry, but don't try me. Honestly, if you only can make money when there's a crisis, how shit are you mentally? And also, the debt still went up and up and up. Nothing was being solved. Only individuals would benefit. I love, by the way, there's a video doing its rounds. Nancy Pelosi was answering questions from journalists, and someone asked her about insider trading. And she looked at them and she smiled and acted as if she couldn't hear them. And I swear they were in the front row asking her the same question. And she was acting like, what did you say? I can't hear you. I don't understand it. And Gordon in the YouTube chat, printing more currency is always the easy way out for failed economies. Yeah, quantitative easing. It's an absolute joke, and it causes worse inflation because people don't spend the money.
Yeah. Honestly, there's a very good conversation happening about finances in the chat right now.
Oh, I noticed, and I wished I paid more attention. I'm very sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay.
We are about to hit the 1 hour mark, though, and I know
Yes,
you
we
normally
are.
have to disappear to go and do stuff, pick up your wife, for
do.
example.
Yes.
So, is there anything you'd like to promote before we finish?
No, I at this point I'm almost retired, if not for this.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. I am going to promote, because I put it on Rumble, our political recap show on Rumble. So go follow it there, because I will, after the stream, I'll do it on Sunday now, owing to me wanting to have a day off, and yeah, no. I am going to be having tomorrow off, so this will be up on Rumble tomorrow, but we sexified audio, because Trups and I are both recording this on Audacity on our ends, and I will splice it, compress it, amplify it, equalize it, I will sexify it. It'll be there on Sunday. Thank you all for being here, we really appreciate it. If Trups is here next week, we'll be back next week.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Yes, I believe so.
Oh, there we go then. Thank you everyone for joining. We'll see you next week. Say goodnight, Trups.
Good night, Trups.